Right, good evening everyone. Just going to come on to the quiz on my other account. Right, can any of you hear me whilst I get the comments up on my other account? I've only got one person who's actually online at the moment. Three. Mr. G, good evening, sir. So we just go to the channel and I will be able to bring your questions up in real time. Good evening, Mr. Bramble, Mr. B, and also David. Good evening to you all. Let's put myself on mute on my other account. Scottish Car Traders TV, good evening, good evening. Yes, we are a lot better prepared than the last time. We got the pop-out chat going here as well. There we go, 10 people, right. Fantastic, so we're all ready. I have taken the liberty of printing out the questions. I won't show them too much to you because, Jojo, good evening, good evening. Because if I show this to you too much, then it will give away some of the answers. Mr. Cook from the Emerald Isle. Yes, right. So I suggest you all, Mr. Bill from Wales, good evening, sir. I suggest you all get yourself a pen, doesn't have to be a red one, and some paper, and you write down the numbers 1 to 50. There are going to be 50 questions over 5 rounds, and once you're all ready, Mr. Richard Howlett, good evening, sir. Once you're all ready, then let me know, and we can progress. We are, raring to go. Had my supper. Tonight we should be having this premium Crown Lager from Sainsbury's. Not sponsored by any alcohol company, of course. It's probably a bad idea to be sponsored by an alcohol company if it's an automotive channel. Not the best idea. So once you're all ready, you've got your pens and paper ready, then we shall start with the first round. All the specific brand rounds this time are actually viewer suggestions from the last quiz. So I'll just wait a while for you to be ready. I've got the comment section here in front of me, so I can see when you're all ready. I can also remove comments which none of us want to hear. I've worked out how to do that. So we shouldn't have any problems like we did last time. And whilst I wait for you all to get ready, so, get your pens and paper ready, numbers 1 to 50, 5 rounds, and I'll get my beer open, and we shall begin. Don't expect it to be any easier than last week, though, because it isn't. Right. Are most of you actually ready? You have to type it in the comments section, otherwise I won't be able to see. You with your beverage of choice. Right. Mr. Bill's ready. Be ready to improve on 13. Henry Bob Blundell, good evening, sir. Get yourself a pen and paper and write the numbers 1 to 50 on your sheet because there are 50 questions. Oh, you're ready, are you? Okay. Right, okay, everyone's ready. So round 1 is going to be about MG. Yes, number 1, this is actually a really easy question. What do the letters MG stand for? Question 1, what do the letters MG stand for? That should be quite an easy question for most of you. Question number 2, who was the founder of MG? Again, that should be quite easy. That should be quite easy for you. And all of you, do not write the answers to the questions in the comment section. Do not do that. If I see any of that going on, then I have the power to remove you from the quiz. Okay. So question number 3: when did MG's Aberdeen plant close? Thomas White, yes, thank you. Yes, get your pen and paper ready and write down your answer to number 3, which is when did MG's Aberdeen plant close? Question number 4. Which other BMC car that was also made at Abingdon did the MG-C replace? Which other BMC car made at Abingdon, although I don't think they made all of them at Abingdon, but certainly some of them were made at Abingdon. Whichever BMC car made at Abingdon did the MG-C replace? Would have been about late 67, early 68 that would have happened. Just a clue for you there. Okay. Question number 5. In what year was the MG3, until what year was the MG3 partially assembled at Longbridge from kits imported from China? Question number 5. Until what year was the MG3 partially assembled at Longbridge from kits imported from China? Obviously, I used to own one of those cars myself. It was one of the first cars ever appeared on my channel. Question number 6. What was the name of the engine in the revived MGTF from 2008, which was based on the old K-Series engine? Question number 6. What was the name of the engine in the revived MGTF from 2008 that was based on the old K-Series engine? Question number 7. What was the name of the engine in the original MG6 from 2011, again based on the old K-Series engine? What was the name of the engine in the original MG6 from 2011 that was also based on the K-Series engine? Question number 8. What is the name of the Chinese market car that the British market MG5 EV is based upon? Question number 8. What is the name of the Chinese market car that the British market MG5 EV is based upon? Question number 9. What is the best-selling MG of all time? Question number 9. What is the best-selling MG of all time? And finally, from the first round, question number 10. What Rover model was the first MG3 based upon? Question number 10. What was the Rover model that the first MG3 was based upon? There are actually 3 different answers that are all acceptable to that question. Okay, do you want me to repeat any of those questions, or is that all clear? Just wait for you to consider your answers. Okay, yeah. Scottish Car Enthusiast TV, I think I've done okay on this round. Okay, well, we'll see about that, won't we? Thank you, Mr. Blundell. So, question number 1, what do letters MG stand for? It's Morris Garages. Question number 2, who was the founder of MG? Cecil Kimber, founded in 1924. He was the person who had the Morris Garages franchise in Oxford, but he decided to modify the Morris models he was selling for a bit more sport and a bit more fun, basically. Question number 3, when did MG's Aberdeen plant close? It was 1980 that closed, and also quite soon afterwards the Aberdeen station closed because most of the traffic that went through Aberdeen station seemingly was to do with the factory, and that closed in about 85, I think it did. Question number 4, which other BMC car made at Abingdon, although I don't think all of them made at Abingdon, but certainly some of them were. But did the MG-C replace? That was the Austin Healey 3000, and that happened in late 67, early 68. Question number 5, until what year was the MG3 partially assembled at Longbridge from kits imported in China? We had a 2014 MG3 that was this way down. It was partially assembled at Longbridge from a kit imported from China. They stopped doing that in 2016. which is sort of coincidentally the same year that they stopped doing the same thing with the MG6. They just stopped importing them entirely. Depeche Mode music. You don't know what questions are coming up later on in the quiz. You complain, you know, some people complain they were too hard, some people claim they were too easy. You know, what can I do? Right. Question number 6. What was the name of the engine in the revived MGTF from 2008, based on the old K series engine? That's the N series engine. It's made by Nanjing Automotive. Question 7. What was the name of the engine in the original MG6 from 2011, based on the old K series engine? That's the Kavachi engine. They're both based on the K series. They're both improved versions of them, but they were actually developed completely separately because until 2007, Nanjing Automotive and Shanghai Automotive, who owned various bits of MG Rover, were different companies. So the MGTF was the N series engine from 2008, and then from 2011, the 1.8 petrol MG6 was the Kavachi engine. Andy Armstrong, good evening. Well, thank you. I hope you're having a great evening so far. Question 8. What is the name of the Chinese market car that the British market MG5 EV is based upon? It is the Rovi or Roway, depending on how you want to say it, EI5. So yeah, the Roway or Rovi EI5. Question 9. What's the best-selling MG of all time? You never criticised your question selection. Well, that's what you just did, isn't it, sir? What is your best-selling MG of all time? It's the MGB Roadster. I think that's quite logical, really, that one. Question 10. This is actually a trick question. What Rover model was the first MG3 based upon? It was the Rover Streetwise or 25 or 200 R3. Any of those, because the MG3, the first one, made from about 2008 till 2011, was actually a lightly modified Rover Streetwise. They never was sold in this country. Jenny in Rotterdam. Good evening, sir. Right. Tot up your scores and let me know how well you did. I know one particular person has done very well on that round. I'm not talking about myself. So hopefully, you know, you asked for a round about MG, and I provided one for you. Well, probably easy for you, Depeche Mode music. I'm not sure they're easy for everyone else. Oh, Simon Webb. Good evening, sir. We've just done a round on MG. Well, Scottish Car Enthusiast TV just got 3, so they can't be that easy. So just done a round on MG. Just waiting for people to tot up their scores. 5 points. Very good, Mr. Bill. Very good. Right. 6 points, Pete Early. Henry Bob Blundell 2, Andy G 2.5, David H 4 points. Okay. You see, some people found them easy, some people found them hard. You know, Richard Howlett 7, Thomas White 2. Thomas White, if you think that those questions were hard, I'm afraid it's not going to be the easiest evening for you. HB 4 points. Right. Round 2, Ford. 10 questions about Ford. Okay. Some of these questions they're quite hard, but if you're familiar with my channel, you might get them. I don't know. Bird. Well, but just see how you do. Just say how you do, Thomas White. Question 11. I'm not a... Who? The Depeche Mode music, who's upset you? Question 11. What registration letter did the last Capri 280 ever registered in Britain wear? Question 11. What registration letter did the last Capri 280 ever registered in Britain wear? Question 12. What other car has the same front brakes as an early Capri 2.8 injection? And actually, we covered this in the Tweed Jacket episode from October 2020. So I don't think someone will know the answer to this question. Actually, 2 people know the answer to this question. Question 13. If any of you get this, you can have 5 points. Which brand new Ford car from the press fleet was featured briefly in the Cat's Eyes episode Frightmare, filmed in April 1985? And no cheating by looking it up. Question 13. Which brand new Ford car from the press fleet was featured briefly in the Cat's Eyes episode Frightmare, filmed in April 1985? Question 14. How many different 2-litre engines were offered in the Mark I Ford Granada? I'm talking about in all markets. Question 14. How many different 2-litre engines were offered in the Mark I Ford Granada? Question 15. What was the one Capri driven by Terry McCann in Minder that we know for definite was supplied by the Ford press fleet? Question 15. What was the one Capri driven by Terry McCann in Minder that we know for definite was supplied by the Ford press fleet? Question 16. Which Mark II Granada was driven by Ray Smith as Gordon Spikings in the first 2 series of Dempsey and Makepeace? Question 16. Which Mark II Granada was driven by Ray Smith as Gordon Spikings in the first 2 series of Dempsey and Makepeace? Question 17. How many different Capris did Lewis Collins use as main cars in the professionals? Question 17. How many different Capris did Lewis Collins use as main cars in the professionals? Question 18. When was the heavily facelifted Mark I Ford Focus design discontinued in North America? Question 18. When was the heavily facelifted Mark I Focus design discontinued in North America? Depends on music. I think you and someone else might be doing quite well on this round. I'm not going to name the other person. I think he's probably quite happy about that, actually. Question 19. What was the name of the Mark I Ford Mondeo's equivalent in North America? Question 19. What was the name of the Mark I Ford Mondeo's equivalent in North America? And question 20. Just how many other cars were based on the Mark III Ford Fiesta platform? And I want you to name them. Question 20. Just how many other cars are based on the Mark III Ford Fiesta platform? Just think carefully about your answer there, because there are modifications of that platform that lived on a little longer than you might think. Okay. Do any of you need more time or want to repeat any of those questions? Julian Rotterdam, you had that for Focus Facelift. Well, that's good. Okay, you all totting up your answers for the Ford round. Right, so we'll go through the answers to this one. I think it's going to be between 2 particular people. I'm not going to mention names to get the best score on this round. So, question 11. What registration letter is the last Capri 280 ever registered in Britain where? It's 89 on a G. It was supplied new by a dealership in Croydon. Question 12. What other car has the same front brakes as an early Capri 2.8 injection, as featured in the True Detectives episode in October 2020? It's a Ford Cortina Mark 4 or 5 or Cortina 80. Mark 5 and Cortina 80 are the same thing. Question 13. What brand new Ford car from the press fleet was featured briefly in the Cat's Eyes episode Frightmare, filmed in April 1985? That was the Ford Granada Scorpio Mark III. It was also used, that particular car was also used in the publicity video for the Mark III Granada when it came out, and driven by Tony Bastable. Same car. Question 14. How many different 2-litre engines were featured in the Mark I Ford Granada? That was a 2-litre Pinto, 2-litre Cologne V6, and the Essex V4, although not all engines were in all markets. Question 15. What was the one Capri driven by Terry McCann in Minder that we know for definite was supplied by the Ford press fleet? There's only one. It's not the one you think it is. It was a 1980 Ford Capri 1.6 litre GL used in Series 3 only, MJN 701V. Question 16. Which Mark II Granada was driven by Ray Smith as Gordon Spiking did the first 2 series of Dempsey and Makepeace? It was a 1984 Granada 2.8 GL Saloon A195 RNO. And I do have lots and lots of episodes of Cars Used Television and Film on my channel in the playlist. Question 17. How many different Capris did Lewis Collins use as main cars of the professionals? Actually, there were 5 in the first series. Towards the end of that first series, there was a Mark II 3-litre gear. And then after that, there were four different Mark III 3-litre S models in Strato Silver. Question 18. When was the heavily facelifted Mark I Ford Focus design discontinued in North America? Well, North America skipped the Mark II Focus, as we would call it, entirely, and used a revised version of the Mark I design, and that was only discontinued when the Mark III came in 2011. Question 19. What was the name of the Mark I Ford Mondeo equivalent in North America? That was the Ford Contour, although if you wrote Mercury Mystique, you'd also be correct. Question 20. Just how many other cars are based on the Mark III Ford Fiesta platform? Well, for a start, there's the Ford Fiesta Mark IV and 5, as we call them in this country. We separate the pre and post facelift Mark IV into 2 variants in this country for some reason. So Mark V Fiesta, Mark I Ford Ka, that was discontinued in 2008. The Ford Puma, original one, not the one that they're making today, and the Ford Courier van and pickup. So a total of 5. Obviously, if you've got all 5 of those correct, then you've got 5 points. Okay, that's the Ford round. I look forward to seeing your scores in the comments section. Well, especially with music, that's still an impressive score considering if you didn't cheat. That's pretty good. 5. Yeah, I've got to choose USTV 5. Right, Mr. Andy G, you're going to tell us what you got. We did that round just for you. Henry Bob Blundell, 4 out of 10. Sean Cook, 4. Richard Howlett, 4. David H, 5. It's pretty good. You know, I haven't made this easy. For certain. What? Mr. G, you only got 3.5. I made this as easy as I could for you, Mr. G. Bad book, 0 again. HB, not so good on the 4, just a 1 point. Okay, well, maybe won't do Ford round next time then. Right, are you all ready for round 3? Another sip of my beer. Very nice. Right, round 3 is general knowledge and the automotive YouTube world. Your stepfather, Depeche Mode, your stepfather made a few Fords. Rolls wheels for that round. Hit the post a lot. What do you mean by hitting the post, Mr. G? I think everybody knew somebody back in the day who owned some old Fords, didn't they? I certainly did. My grandfather had a Mark II Ford Fiesta gear, 1.1 automatic, same colour as the one in the photograph on the community page this week, which I photographed actually at the local supermarket where my mother lives. It's interesting to see that. Right, okay, general knowledge and automotive, the world of automotive YouTube. Question 21. What is the only Citroen from the 1990s that Mr. Coleman, rubbish mechanic, and I would have in an ideal car garage without any hesitation at all? Mr. Howlett, you got a mug of tea. It's very good. Scottish Card View STV. Yeah, I grew up with Mark 4 and 5 Escorts. I think a lot of us did, actually. I had a friend who had a Mark 4 Escort as a second car, I think. It was a Ford Escort Bonus 90. In 2002, I think he had it, and it was free. He got it given for free. So question number 21. What is the only Citroen from the 1990s that Mr. Coleman and I would have in an ideal car garage without heavy hesitation at all? And it has to be the full specification of the car. To get the point there. Question 22. How many Toyota Corollas have been made by November 2018? Flashburn Music. Well, I never promised the whole thing would be easy, did I? I said it would get harder. So yeah, 22. How many Toyota Corollas have been made by November 2018? Question 23. Which YouTube channel was Laurie's Mechanical Marvels developed from? Question 23. What YouTube channel was Laurie's Mechanical Marvels developed from? Question 24. When was the Oldsmobile division of General Motors closed? Question 24. When was the Oldsmobile division of General Motors closed? Question 25. I think somebody will get this. What was the first car ever featured on Sensible Secondhand Reviews? Question 25. What was the first car ever featured on Sensible Secondhand Reviews? Question 26. Why did Chrysler Corporation close their Plymouth division? Question 26. Why did Chrysler Corporation close their Plymouth division? Question 27. Why did the Ford Scorpio estate on No Budget Reviews break down and end up in the scrapyard the day after I filmed it? Question 27. Why did the Ford Scorpio estate on No Budget Reviews break down and end up in the scrapyard the day after I filmed it? Question 28. Who was the founder of Cadillac? Question 28. Who was the founder of Cadillac? Well, Depeche Mode music. The last two questions in this round I think you're going to find very hard. Question 29. Which car from the National Motor Museum in Bewley featured in the 1967 Avengers episode The See-Through Man? Question 29. Which car from the National Motor Museum in Bewley featured in the 1967 Avengers episode The See-Through Man? Question 30. What was the name of the Proton Impian on the Malaysian market? Question number 30. What was the name of the Proton Impian on the Malaysian market? Right. Do you want me to go over any of those questions again, or is it fine to go through the answers? I see a couple of you, Richard Howler and Bad Books, are having a few problems with the fiendish questions, but they are pretty fiendish. That's just the way that it goes. Hey, Bob and Dad, it's fine. Good. I'm pleased to hear that. Right. So round 3, general knowledge and the automotive YouTube world. What is the only Citroen from the 1990s that Mr. Coleman and I would have in an ideal car garage without any hesitation at all? A Citroen Xantia V6 Activa. It has to be a V6 Activa. Any normal type of Citroen Xantia doesn't count. It has to be the V6 Activa. And he has tried to buy one actually at some point, but they're a little bit expensive actually. Those. It's not Aldi beer this week. It's from Sainsbury's. Not sponsored, by the way. Blue Nun, yes. Very appropriate for a quiz like this, Blue Nun. Question 22. How many Toyota Corollas have been made by November 2018? In excess of 45 million. Question 23. Which YouTube channel was Laurie's Mechanical Marvels developed from? That was JM on Cars, run by James Martin. 24. When was the Oldsmobile division of General Motors closed? It was in 2004. Last car was the Oldsmobile Alero. Yes, Mr. Pill, it's a lot of Corollas, an awful lot of them. Question 25. What was the first car ever featured in sensible second-hand reviews? That was the 2015 Kia Rio. Question 26. Why did Chrysler Corporation close their Plymouth division? That was because of because the other marques massively outsold Plymouth. There really wasn't particular reason for it to exist anymore. Especially music, I'm sure you know plenty about the Activa. I'm a big fan of those. Only sold in this country in V6 form with the second facelift. Question 27. Why did the Ford Scorpio estate on No Budget Reviews break down and ended up in the scrap the other day after I filmed it? That was because the ECU failed, and in a diesel Scorpio, it's in a really, really poor place on the sort of bulkhead where all the water gets to it. So, yeah, day after I filmed that, the ECU failed and it had to be scrapped. Question 28. Who was the founder of Cadillac? It was Henry Leland. Bad books of XM. Yeah, Mr. Common likes the XM, but I like this anti-Activa. That's the only Citroen that I would have with no hesitation from the 90s at all. So founder of Cadillac, Henry Leland, I think you pronounce his name, Henry Leland. Question 29. Which car from the National Motor Museum in Bewley featured in a 1967 Adventures episode, The See-Through Man? That was the 1909 Rolls-Royce Silver Ghost. There's been two plates on that car, R1909 or AX201. I think it's R1909 at the moment, or AX201. I always forget, but that's the car anyway. It's still in the museum now. When they filmed that in September 1966, they actually filmed that right outside Palace House in Bewley, if you are familiar with that. Question 30. What was the name of the Proton Impian on the Malaysian market? It's a Proton Wajah. I think you know why they changed that for the British market, because we can't have too many Wajahs waggling around, can we? Right. Please tot up your scores and let me know how you did. Switch Card VGS TV 2. Treasure Music 2 litres Xantia. Xantias are getting pretty rare now, to be honest. There's very few of them left. When I filmed that Peugeot 406 V6, there's not many of those around either. David H2, Andy G1, Mr. Bill from Walls Wheels 2, Henry Bob Liddell 6. 6? It's very good. It's very impressive. It should be just a 1 again. I was only 25 million Corollas out. Just 25 million. Yes, that's not a problem. Sean Cook 2.5, Special Music 8. Wow. I think you're sort of cruising for a win here, aren't you? Richard Howlett 4 out of 10, another 4, not bad. That's not really out, it's not bad at all, really, 4. Okay, shall we proceed to the next round, gentlemen? Or ladies and gentlemen? Okay, round 4 is about Alfa Romeo. Again, another viewer suggestion. First 2 rounds were... Oh, I'm sorry about books of 0. Sorry about that. The brand specific rounds this week were all suggested last time. So question 31. What was the badge engineered Nissan version of the Alfa Romeo Arna? Question 31. What was the badge engineered Nissan version of the Alfa Romeo Arna? Special Music. I think I need a car consulting position. Well, why don't you set yourself up as an independent vehicle consultant over in the West Midlands? I'm sure there's plenty of people there who would be in need of your services. Question 32. What is the oldest Alfa Romeo that I've ever driven? Question 32. What is the oldest Alfa Romeo that I've ever driven? It has actually featured on the channel, so I'm not just asking you to sort of guess out of nowhere. It actually has been on the channel, that Alfa. Question 33. This is an interesting one. Which Alfa Romeo was so bad that the Dutch, German, and Swiss importers of them were forced to buy them back from customers? 33. Which Alfa Romeo was so bad that the Dutch, German, and Swiss importers of them were forced to buy them back from customers? Question 34. Which was the last Alfa Romeo to feature the legendary twin-cam engine? Thank you, Depeche Mode Music. What was the last Alfa Romeo to feature the legendary twin-cam engine? I'm not talking about a twin-spark engine because that's a different engine. I'm talking about a twin-cam engine. Question 35. How many examples of the Alfa Romeo Alpha 6 were registered for road use in the UK at the end of 2020? Question 35. How many examples of the Alfa Romeo Alpha 6 were registered for road use in the UK at the end of 2020? Question 36. Which other cars shared the Alfa Romeo 164 platform? Question 36. Which other cars shared the Alfa Romeo 164 platform? Question 37. Which Alfa Romeo model shared the 1.3 engine powered by the forbidden fuel with the Vauxhall Corsa D? Question 37. Which Alfa Romeo model shared the 1.3 engine powered by the forbidden fuel shared with the Vauxhall Corsa D? Question 38. What was the name of the estate version of the Alfa Sud? Question 38. What was the name of the estate version of the Alfa Sud? Question 39. In what other countries was the Alfa Sud manufactured apart from Italy? Question 39. In what other countries was the Alfa Sud manufactured apart from Italy? Well, you should do well on this round then, sir. If you've had two of them, then you should do well. Question 40. What was the more common badge engineered version of the Alfa Romeo AR8 commercial van stroke pickup? Question 40. What is the more common badge engineered version of the Alfa Romeo AR8 commercial van or pickup? Right, that's the end of the fourth round. HB, I've had one of those vans. Wow, it's a rare van, the Alfa Romeo AR8. Right, does anybody want me to go through any of the questions for the Alfa Romeo round, or are you all fine as you are? Okay. Oh, that's good. Thank you, Henry Bob Lundell. Scottish Cars 3DS TV. It's the van that my uncle had a few years ago. Possibly. Okay, question 31. What is the badge engineered Nissan version of the Alfa Romeo Ana? It's the Nissan Cherry Europe, and not Alfa's finest hour there. Yes, Scottish Cars 3DS, yes. I'm not sure even the Alfa Romeo AR6 was sold, AR8 was sold over here. Not sure it was. Thank you, Mr. Bill. Question 32. What's the oldest Alfa Romeo ever driven? A 1971 Alfa Romeo 1300 GT Junior with a 2000 engine. That was in August 2019. I did a walk around of a channel of that. So yeah, it's 71 Alfa Romeo 1300 GT Junior with a 2000 engine. What a car. Question 33. Which Alfa Romeo was so bad that the Dutch, German and Swiss importers of them were forced to buy them back from customers? That was the Alfa Romeo 2300 Rio, built in Brazil. Alfa Romeo forced them upon various European markets in 1981, and they were all so bad that Alfa Romeo had to buy them all back and then pass them on to second-hand car dealers who struggled to sell them at 2 to 3 years old. One of the biggest disasters ever in the automotive world, and that particular car had a chassis from the 1950s Alfa Romeo 1900. I'm not even joking. If you look it up, you'll find that's true. Question 34. What was the last Alfa Romeo to use legendary twin cam engine? That was the Alfa 164. Question 35. How many examples of the Alfa 6 registered road use in 2020? One. Just one. Question 36. Which other cars shared the Alfa 164 platform? The Saab 9000, Lancia Tima, and the Fiat Croma. It's called the Type 4 platform, I believe. 37. Which Alfa Romeo model shared the 1.3 engine that uses forbidden fuel, used with shared with the Corsa D? That was the Mito. Not the most reliable car ever, the Mito, I gather. Question 38. What was the name of the estate version of the Alfa Sud? It's the Giardinetta is the name of the estate version of the Alfa Sud. Question 39. In what other countries was the Alfa Sud manufactured apart from Italy? It's Malaysia, Malta and South Africa. Question 40. What was the more common badge engineered version of the Alfa Romeo A08 commercial van and pickup truck? It's the Iveco Daily. Right, so that's the fourth round. Only got one round to go now. And it's the cars of the James Bond films. But before we go into the final round, oh yes, Depeche Mode music, unsurprisingly 6 correct. Well, I think you're ahead of most other people there. Henry Bob Mandela got 1. Didn't make it easy. Oh, Chippers, good evening. Good evening, Chippers. Yes, we're about to do the final round of the quiz this evening. Mr. Jake Bill 4, Scottish Card Readers yes 4, David H 3, Mr. G 1, HB 3, Sean Cook 3, Richard Howlett 5. That's quite good. That's quite good, Mr. Howlett. That's very good actually. Okay. Yeah, it's a very pretty car, but not the most reliable ones, unfortunately, the Mitos. Nice looking car, very nice looking car. Bad books. Oh, you got 2. I hope you're happy about that. You obviously know something. You obviously know more about Alphas than you thought. Right, round 5. Cars of the James Bond films. Question number 1. In what 1960s television series did the James Bond Aston Martin DB5 from Goldfinger BMT 216A appear? If you can name the episode as well as the series, I will give you 4 points. Just for reason, no, the Mito wasn't based on the Pinto. No, you mean the Punto? Yes, it was. But it was also based on a Corsa D. They're all the same platform and all the same diesel engine. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't have said that. Forbidden fuel. But can't talk about those on the channel. Question 42. In From Russia with Love, what car does Sean Connery as James Bond appear with near the start of the film? Henry Bob Lundell. I don't think so. I think the Fiat 500 platform is different from the Punto one, as far as I know. No, the better is you can keep engaging with what was going on. That's absolutely fine. Don't worry. Question 43. What is the registration number of the Lotus Esprit used to Spy Who Loved Me? Question 44. In For Your Eyes Only, why does Roger Moore have to drive a Citroen 2CV in a car chase? Yes, Mr. Bill, you're quite right. the Ford car and the Panda and the Fiat 500 are all on the same platform. That's the Mark II Ford car. The 500 and the Panda, apart from the new electric versions that are coming out quite soon, they're still based on that platform. And the Chrysler Ypsilon or Lancia Ypsilon as well. The Lancia Ypsilon is still in production, amazingly. Question 45. In License to Kill, what car does Timothy Dalton hire when he's in the Florida Keys? Question 46. What is the make and model of Scaramanga's car plane in The Man with the Golden Gun? Well, I will repeat these. Question 47. What was the secondary supplier for cars driven by Timothy Dalton in The Living Daylights? Question 48. Where was the accident that happened to James Bond's Aston Martin DBS in the 2006 version of the Casino Royale filmed? Question 49. What were the cars used by the villains in the opening chase sequence in Quantum of Solace? Question 50. Why was the Toyota 2000 in You Only Live Twice convertible? Excuse me. Why was the Toyota 2000 GT in You Only Live Twice a convertible? I'll go over those questions again. Question 41. In what 1960 television series did the James Bond Aston Martin DB5 from Goldfinger appear? And if you get the series and the episode, I'll give you 4 points. 42. In Rush with Love, what car does Sean Connery as James Bond appear with near the start of the film? Question 43. What is the registration number of your Lotus Esprit used in Spy Who Loved Me? Question 44. Why does Roger Moore have to drive a Citroen 2CV in a car chase? In License to Kill, what car does Timothy Dalton hire when he's in the Florida Keys? Question 46. What was the make and model of Scaramanga's car plane in The Man with the Golden Gun? Question 47. What was the secondary supplier for cars driven by Timothy Dalton in The Living Daylights? Question 48. Where was the accident that happened to James Bond's Aston Martin DBS in the 2006 Casino Royale filmed? Question 49. What were the cars used by the villains in the opening chase sequence in Quantum of Solace? And question 50. Why was the Toyota 2000 GT in You Only Live Twice a convertible? Right, just give me a second. I just need to go to the loo. I'll be back in a moment. Right, that's better. I did wash my hands in case you were wondering, like the government tells me to do so. Do I love music? Yes. I'm sure you've got all the Bond films on DVD. You strike me as the kind of person who has. Honey Bob Blundell. I've only watched a couple. That's you know, that's fine. Scottish car enthusiast. The car was based on the 500. Never patched an original car. Yeah, I'm not a massive fan of the Mark II Ford car, to be honest. Better music. No, I didn't flush you all down below. I came back. Henny Bob Blundell. Laughing outright. Right. Okay, you lot. Put your scores in the comment section, please. Mr. G. I did not sing Happy Birthday twice, but I did time it properly. So put your scores for that round. And then once you put your scores for that round in, then you can top them up and we'll see who's won this week's free lifetime supply of oxygen. Oh no, sorry, I didn't give the answer yet, have I? Sorry, I got so Undertaker. I saw a 1 litre Toledo, same colour as well, but should I buy it? That entirely depends on what condition it's in and what sort of mileage it's done. Yeah, we're about to go over the answers now, but just hold on a second. Rover Joe, good evening, sir. Good evening, sir. Hello, good evening. Right, question 41. In what television series in the 60s did the Aston Martin from Goldfinger appear, the DB5, BMT 216A? That was episode of The Saint called The Noble Sportsman. It was actually, before they filmed Goldfinger, it was the same car, but it was painted Dubonnet red, as opposed to gunmetal grey, I think they call the shade it in the Bond films. I could be wrong. So yeah, The Saint, The Noble Sportsman for 4 points, or just The Saint was 1 point. If From Russia with Love, what car does Sean Connery as James Bond used near the start of the film? It's a Bentley. I think it's a 4.25 litre. I could be wrong about that, but just Bentley is absolutely fine. Question 43. What was the registration number of Lotus Esprit used in The Spy Who Loved Me? It's PPW306R. 44. And for your eyes only, why does Roger Moore have to drive a Citroen 2CV in a car chase? That's because the Esprit gets blown up when someone tries to steal it, and it's burglar protected, and it's fitted with a self-destruct switch if somebody tries to break in. 45. And License to Kill, what car does Timothy Dalton hire when he's in the Florida Keys? So 1988 Lincoln Mark 6 LS, so Mark 7 LSC, 88 Lincoln Mark 7 LSC. If you got Lincoln, I suppose 1 point, Mark 7, 2 points, and LSC, you get another point as well. Question 46. What was the make and model of Scaramanga's car plane, The Man with a Golden Gun? AMC Matador Coupe Brougham by Oleg Cassini. If you put AMC Matador, that's 1 point. A coupe, I suppose that's another point. Hang on, the Petrol music we've not finished yet. We've got 4 more questions to go over. So yeah, AMC Matador Brougham Oleg Cassini. 47. What was the secondary supplier for Audis driven by Timothy Dalton and Living Daylights? That was Audi. Audi 200s, actually, 2 Audi 200s. One used in Austria, one used in Morocco. Fucking Council, was there Matador Saloon? The police used, I think, Hornets and Ambassadors. I could be wrong. I'll have to check that, but I think they used Hornet saloons and Ambassador saloons. I think it was a mixture of both of them, actually. But yeah, the Scaramanga car was a coupe. 48. Where was the accident that happened to James Bond's Aston Martin DBS in the 2006 Casino Royale filmed? That was at Millbrook Proving Ground in Bedfordshire. David H. Can I have a hard point of AMC? Go on then. 49. What were the cars used by the villains in the opening chase sequence in Quantum of Solace? Alfa Romeo 159s, they were. And question 50, this is quite well known in the Bond community, I think. Why was the Toyota 2000 GT and Euro twice convertible? That's because Sean Connery was too tall to fit in the coupe version, so they had to make a one-off convertible for him. So he was could sit in it without his head, you know, breaking the roof lining. So there we are. Please tot up your scores for that round, and we'll have a look. I know Depeche Mode Music has got rather excited and has put some rather strange smiley cons in his comment there. So there we are. So what have the rest of you got in the James Bond round? Right. Henry Bobbitt 1, Sean Cook 5.5. Richard Howlett, yeah, sorry about that. David H, half a point. Special Enthusiasts 1. Andy G, half a point. Mr. Bill from Oswills 4. Question of 50's lucky guess. It's logical, really, isn't it? 4. Kankavzor 3. Okay. Has anybody actually got anywhere close to Bad Book 0? But the dog need to go to the toilet. Well, he wasn't the only one who need to go to the toilet. Sometimes, you know, when you have to go, you have to go. Sean Cook AMC couldn't remember Matador. Yeah, the AMC dealership in the film's quite prominent actually in that one. Right. So tot up your total scores and we'll see who's won. I think I know who's won already. You can call himself a super fan. David actually a Bond fan, but still very hard. Well, you know, I didn't promise for this quiz would be easy. It's you know, yes, more interesting Smiley cons from Depeche Mode Music. Okay, the first total we've got is 15 from Scottish Car Enthusiast TV, 14 from Henry Bob Blundell. Mr. G, you think I might do a Donald Trump next week and not appear? Well, I don't know if we will be doing a quiz next week, to be honest. The viewing figures haven't been very, very high this week, which is a shame considering how much more prepared and kind of, you know, sort of sorted out we are, but never mind. Maybe we won't do another one next week if the demand's not really there. Mr. Bill, 19, David H 15, HB 9, Sean Cook 21. That's not bad. 21's very good. Richard Howlett 20. That's very good. Depeche Mode Music, I think we know you did very well. You have to actually write down your actual score so we can see just how well you've done. And then you can be awarded your free lifetime supply of oxygen. Mr. G, you want another live question and answer session? Yes, we could do that if you want, if you prefer. Do you want another live stream next weekend? I mean, I'm very happy to do one. If you don't want one, we won't do one. That's fine. But if you want to do another question and answer session, bearing in mind we just have done a question and answer session this week, I think it was. 44 out of 50. I don't know. You'll have to add your own score up. Depeche Mode Music. Despite James Bond, well, you know, maybe we won't do another James Bond cars round. That was something that I think a viewer suggestion. I think most of these actually were viewer suggestions. These rounds. So yes, there we go. Right. So, anybody else got to share their scores? Other than that, we've been running for almost an hour. So, yes, Depeche Mode Music. You can have the prize. You can have your free lifetime supply of oxygen. Mr. Cook, please more. By more, do you mean more quizzes, or do you mean more live streams with question and answer sessions? What do you mean by that? And Mr. Bill, you know what I'm going to do, Mr. Bill? I'm going to get you to write the mini round for the next quiz. You can write that yourself, because then you can watch people squirm. Apart from Depeche Mode Music, who will probably get 9 out of 10. Whatever we do, he'll get about 9 out of 10. So you know, you can make it hard, or you can make it very hard. Yes, Mr. Bill, I thought you'd enjoy that. It's Petrified Music. Everybody seems to very much enjoy your quiz attempt. Bad Books, Depeche Mode music. Dog had a wee and then invested on a snowball fight, which I won. Yeah, I'll tell you what, everybody. We will do a poll at some point in the next couple of days to decide what we actually do on the next live stream, where we do another quiz. It does take me quite a long time to do these. It takes a while to put these together, whereas the general live stream things, well, they're a bit easy to prepare for, if you see what I mean. So I think we'll end it there. Congratulations again to Depeche Mode Music for winning the quiz. You'd be honoured. Yes, I thought you might be. Thank you ever so much indeed, everybody, for joining me for the second quiz. I don't know if that was easier or harder than last week. I absolutely don't know. Yeah, Depeche Mode Music, he did win by an absolute mile. Yeah, it's fine. I don't mind doing it. It's just, if I get two people on the live stream, then it's really not much fun, having spent hours preparing a quiz. If you see what I mean. Yeah, so we'll do another one next weekend, and we'll also vote for the time. Yes, a round of silent applause, because none of you can actually say anything over your way. You just type things, which is interesting, isn't it? Mr. G, I did do the forward round pretty much just for you, and unfortunately it didn't quite work out for you, and for that I apologise. I did try to make it as suitable for you as possible. But yes, so I will call it a day there, because we could be here all night and I've got to finish my beer. So thank you very much indeed for watching. Don't forget to like this video if you haven't already done so. It very much helps. To leave a comment below if you're watching on the replay, and subscribe to the channel for more of the same. We actually have some pretty interesting videos coming up next week. I've been at work today, and my day at work was successful. That's all I'm going to say. David H, we're not supposed to put too many MG Rover questions in the quiz, because people don't like it if we do that. Don't like it, you see. Right, so yeah, good night, everybody. Good night.